The air was thick with anticipation, a palpable tension that seemed to hang over every corner of JFK International Airport. The smell of jet fuel and distant journeys clinging to the tarmac of JFK International Airport. The airport was a bustling hub of activity, a gateway to the world. But on this particular night, it was also the stage for an audacious plan. It was December 11th, 1978. Beneath the roar of departing flights, the cold winter air biting at their faces, a group of men moved with purpose. Their eyes were hardened, their nerves steeled. They had spent months meticulously planning every detail, every possible outcome. This was not a spur-of-the-moment decision, it was a calculated move. They were about to pull off one of the most audacious heists in American history, the Lufthansa Heist. This was no ordinary robbery, it was a masterstroke of criminal ingenuity. The target, the Lufthansa cargo terminal, a fortress of steel and concrete guarding millions of dollars in untraceable cash. The terminal was known for its tight security, but these men were undeterred. These men, soldiers in a shadowy army led by the ruthless Jimmy Burke, were not there for a petty robbery. Burke was a mastermind, a man who knew how to exploit weaknesses and turn them into opportunities. They were there to make history. Each man had a role to play. Each step had been rehearsed. They knew the risks, but the potential reward was too great to ignore. Millions of dollars ripe for the taking. The sheer scale of the heist was staggering, a sum that could change their lives forever. It was the score that could set them up for life, a ticket to the big time. They dreamed of luxury, of freedom, of a life without limits. But as with any dance with the devil, the price of such ambition was often paid in blood. The stakes were high, and the consequences of failure were dire. And the Lufthansa heist would prove to be a bloodbath. The aftermath was brutal, a stark reminder that in the world of high-stakes crime, there are no guarantees, only risks and rewards. The Lufthansa heist was not the work of opportunistic thugs. It was a grand scheme, a masterstroke of criminal ingenuity. It was a meticulously planned operation, orchestrated by some of the most dangerous men in New York City, the Lucchese crime family. These men were not just criminals. They were architects of chaos, engineers of fear. This wasn't just about the money. It was about power, respect, and striking fear into the heart of the establishment. The heist was a statement, a bold declaration of their dominance over the city's underworld. Months of planning, reconnaissance, and inside information went into crafting the perfect heist. The Lucchese family left no stone unturned, no detail overlooked. Every detail, every movement, every possible contingency was analyzed, debated, and rehearsed. The planning sessions were intense, filled with heated discussions and meticulous strategizing. The Lucchese family, with their web of informants and corrupt officials, had eyes and ears everywhere. Their network of influence extended deep into the city's institutions, ensuring that they were always one step ahead. They were the puppet masters, and the men at JFK were merely the puppets, dancing to their deadly tune. The heist was a symphony of crime, with each participant playing their part to perfection. Whispers of the plan spread through the underworld, attracting a motley crew of seasoned criminals, each with their own skills and their own demons. These men were drawn to the heist like moths to a flame, enticed by the promise of a big score. They were drawn to the allure of easy money, unaware that they were stepping into a viper's nest of betrayal, greed, and murder. The heist was a powder keg, ready to explode at any moment, and the men involved were playing a dangerous game with their lives. As the day of the heist approached, tension mounted. The clock was ticking, and every second brought them closer to the moment of truth. The air was thick with anticipation and fear. On the night of the heist, the plan was set into motion with military precision. The men moved like shadows, executing their roles with cold efficiency. The heist was a ballet of crime, a dance of darkness. When the dust settled, the heist was a success, but the true cost was yet to be revealed. The aftermath was a whirlwind of suspicion, betrayal, and violence. The shadows of conspiracy loomed large, casting a dark pall over the city. The media frenzy that followed only added to the chaos. Headlines screamed of the audacious crime, and the hunt for the culprits began in earnest. The city was gripped by fear and fascination. For the men who pulled off the heist, the celebration was short-lived. The spoils of their crime came with a heavy price. Paranoia set in, and trust became a rare commodity. The shadows of conspiracy were ever present, a constant reminder of the danger that lurked around every corner. The Lufthansa heist remains one of the most infamous crimes in history. A testament to the dark allure of power and greed. The shadows of conspiracy continue to haunt those who dared to dance with the devil. At the heart of this criminal conspiracy stood James "Jimmy" the Gent Burke, a man who cast a long shadow in the annals of organized crime. A cold-blooded killer and a brilliant strategist, Burke was a rising star in the Lucchese family, feared and respected in equal measure. Burke's criminal resume read like a laundry list of the 7 deadly sins: extortion, loan sharking, hijacking. He ran the infamous Roberts Lounge, a mob hangout, and the unofficial headquarters for the Lufthansa heist planning. His eyes, as cold and gray as the East River on a December morning, held a chilling intelligence, a mind constantly calculating, always several moves ahead. He commanded loyalty with a mixture of charisma and fear, rewarding those who served him and ruthlessly eliminating anyone he perceived as a threat. To cross Jimmy Burke was to sign your own death warrant. And in the aftermath of the Lufthansa heist, many would learn this lesson the hard way. Section 4. A Clockwork Operation. The night of the heist, the air crackled with tension. The crew, their faces hidden behind ski masks, moved with the precision of a military unit. They had one shot at this, one chance to grab their piece of the American dream and disappear into the night. The plan, honed over countless late-night meetings, unfolded with chilling efficiency. A van pulled up to the Lufthansa cargo terminal, its arrival timed to the second. The crew, armed with pistols and shotguns, stormed the terminal, overwhelming the terrified employees. Within minutes, they had control of the situation, their voices sharp and commanding, echoing through the vast cargo bay. The vault, believed to be impenetrable, was breached with surprising ease. Bags of cash, filled with untraceable bills, were loaded into the waiting van. The heist, executed with military precision, was over before the authorities even knew what hit them. Section 5. The Spoils of Victory and Bloodshed. The haul was staggering, an estimated $5 million in cash, a sum that could change lives forever. This wasn't just a simple robbery, it was a monumental heist that shook the very foundations of the criminal underworld. Along with the cash, there was another $875,000 in jewels. These weren't just any jewels. They were the kind that sparkled with the promise of untold wealth and power. It was the largest cash robbery in American history at the time, a feat that would be remembered for decades. The media frenzy that followed only added to the legend, with headlines screaming about the audacity and scale of the crime. This heist was a testament to the meticulous planning and ruthless efficiency of Burke's crew. They had spent months, if not years, plotting every detail, ensuring that nothing was left to chance. The underworld buzzed with the news, a mix of awe and envy. Whispers of admiration and jealousy filled the smoky bars and shadowy alleyways where deals were made and lives were gambled. But the euphoria of victory was short-lived. Celebrations quickly turned tense as the reality of their actions set in. Trust, already a rare commodity in their world, became even scarcer. The Lufthansa heist, once a symbol of criminal ingenuity, began to unravel. What was initially seen as a masterstroke of planning and execution soon revealed its darker side. It quickly descended into a maelstrom of paranoia, betrayal, and cold-blooded murder. The very success of the heist became its downfall, as greed and fear took over. Jimmy Burke, true to his nature, wasn't about to let anyone get in the way of his riches or his reputation. He was a man who valued loyalty above all else, and any hint of betrayal was met with swift and brutal retribution. Anyone even remotely connected to the heist, anyone who could potentially talk to the authorities, became a liability. The walls were closing in, and Burke knew he had to act fast to protect himself. One by one, they started disappearing, Friends, associates, even family members, no one was safe from Burke's wrath. The fear was palpable, and the sense of impending doom hung heavy in the air. One by one, they started disappearing. The once tight-knit crew began to unravel as suspicion and fear took hold. People who had once been allies now looked at each other with distrust. Found dead in car trunks, their lifeless bodies a grim reminder of the price of betrayal. The message was clear: cross Burke, and you paid with your life. Floating in the Hudson River, their bodies discarded like trash, the river became a silent witness to the brutality of Burke's reign, or simply vanished without a trace. The streets of New York became a hunting ground, with Burke's men always on the lookout for potential threats. The streets of New York ran red with the blood of Burke's paranoia, a grim testament to the true cost of dancing with the devil. The once celebrated heist had turned into a nightmare with no end in sight, a grim testament to the true cost of dancing with the devil. The spoils of victory had come at a price, and the bloodshed that followed served as a stark reminder of the dark side of ambition and greed.